All right. Thank you very much, everybody, and welcome to day two of our webmaster training. I'm happy to see all of you. And tonight we have something amazing to cover. And so quickly, I'm going to share my screen and we will get right into the lesson. Welcome, all of you, and I hope you had a great day. Let me share my screen and we will get started with the lesson. All right. So today is day two of our webmaster journey. And in this journey, we will uncover so many secrets about web servers and web design and domain names. And we will have the skills to be able to put any company online. All right. So yesterday I mentioned that there are over 1 billion websites on the World Wide Web. So this web that we know has several websites, and every second a new website is created. These websites are hosted on massive web servers that are stored in data centers all across the world. The data centers are like the warehouses that store the servers. And the understanding we are supposed to have is that websites are stored on web servers. And anytime we access websites, these websites are loaded from web servers. So anytime you browse a website with your phone, with your laptop, you are actually communicating with a web server. These web servers run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They do not go off. They are web servers that have been running for the past 20 years without shutting down. Ever since the first website was created on August 6, 1991, those who create websites are valued as people who connect the world, and they are highly sought after. And so if you have the skills to create websites, you have the ability to connect the world and to put content on the World Wide Web for the world to see. These people are referred to as webmasters. A webmaster is an individual who oversees the management of a website, including its content creation, registering of its domain name, addressing errors, and approving site design and functionality. A webmaster has several responsibilities, and a webmaster also builds websites. And so in this journey, I'm taking you through an amazing journey where you have the skills to design websites. Before we get into the lesson, I have a short message for you, and it says that if you can't figure out your purpose, then figure out your passion, because your passion will lead you right into your purpose. Everyone has a purpose, but if you have not discovered it, then look at the things you like doing. Look at your passion, because your passion will connect you to your purpose. This particular training program is designed into several modules. We have module one that covers domains. So yesterday, we had an introduction to websites in general, and we mentioned domains. Today, we'll go a little deeper into domains, and tomorrow we'll wrap up all that we'll study about domains. Today, we'll cover something very important, and it's about domains. It's about domain auctions. It is about domain registration, domain coupons, and a number of topics. I believe my screen is visible and I'm audible. And if you are ready, we will get right into the lesson. I'm going to start with a very short video, and after the video, I will get into the main presentation. So let me quickly share my screen and share the video using VLC so that we can hear it very, very well. And so let's get right into the video.
Everyone needs a domain name. Whether it's for business or personal use, a domain brings instant credibility to any business or anything you choose to register. Once your domain is registered, you can use it for email or go on to create a website to sell products, post photos, videos, resumes, and more. You can register the name of your latest idea. Got something new? A new business idea, organization, product, maybe even an invention? Then register that name now. Protect your personal name. Register the domain before anyone else does. You can register the names of family and friends, even pets and babies. Yep, that's right. Many people now register the names of newborns as a cool new digital birth certificate for this web-centric world. So let the world find you with a domain name. GoDaddy.com makes it fast, easy, fun, and affordable. Why should you get a domain name from GoDaddy.com? Because a domain name lets you do so many things on the internet. Use yours to build a website, to promote services or sell products, post your resume, register your baby's name, create a wedding site, then post photos and videos to share with family. Visit GoDaddy.com now to see more things domain names can be used for and get your very own. GoDaddy.com. Domains, websites, and everything in between.
Okay. Yesterday, I mentioned that to create a website, there are 3 steps or 3 processes that you need to go through. The first step is called domain registration. For you to put a website online, you need to register a domain name. We learned that a domain name is simply the address of a website. And so every website needs an address. This address needs to be registered with an international body. Once the name is registered, we have a second step, which is acquiring web hosting. This is where the web server comes in. Every website needs a web server where the website files and database will be stored. The web server is what is connected to the internet, and it is a hardware that will provide storage space for your website and your database. Every website needs it. Without it, the website will not be online. And the final step is the designing of the website. The website designing is done offline, or you can work on it online as well, but it is done on your personal computer. When you are done, you ensure that all the files that make up the website are uploaded onto the web hosting server. Once the files are on the server, there is a way to connect your domain name to the server using something called name servers. If you can hear me for the first time tonight, please type name servers in the chat for me. Name servers in the chat. This week, we are beginning our training with domain registration, and we will cover everything about domains. And you are free to ask any question. If you have a question about domains that you want to understand, please raise your hand and let me call you, even if you want to speak. If you want to share your question in the chat, feel free to ask your question in the chat. And in this training, I'm going to be addressing you as a business or as a company. And I'm going to be addressing you as a company who is going to provide service, because the knowledge we are going to share belongs to service providers. And you are going to be trained as a service provider. Not only can you use a skill yourself to build your personal project, but you can also use it to serve customers. And the goal is for you to be in the position to provide a service to a client, a company, an organization, any institution that needs this service. And so you have to make sure that you have all the tools and the resources and answers to everything you need to provide this service. For the sake of the excellence in acquiring the skills in this training, be very curious and you need answers to. make sure you ask and make sure you let me know, and I'll provide the answers to them. So we are going to begin with domain registration, and we are going to start with a company called ICANN. It's an organization called ICANN. Please put ICANN in the chat for me. I didn't say I can't. I said I can. Please put this in the chat. Probably we did it yesterday, but let's do that again. And look at what ICANN stands for. After I tell you what ICANN stands for, I'm going to ask somebody what ASCII stands for. Because about a week or two ago, we were learning about ASCII. Tonight, we are learning about ICANN. ICANN stands for the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. It's a corporation that controls all names and numbers on the internet. It is a private, non-government, non-profit corporation with the responsibility for global domain name management, also for DNS management, and also for IP address space allocation. Previously, this service was performed by IANA, the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, but now this service is performed and provided by ICANN. This means that there is one registry that all domain names are registered. Just like in your country, in Ghana, every company has one agency that is in charge of all names of companies. So if you want to register your company name, there's only one place to ensure it is really registered as a business. That same way, this company ICANN, they control all domain names in the whole wide world. This means that they have a database that records every name that is registered. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you is that ICANN by themselves do not serve customers. This means that you cannot walk to ICANN that you want to register a domain. This means that your company will not go to ICANN directly to buy, let's say, one domain. We have certain companies who are accredited domain registrars, and these companies, we call them domain registrars. Domain registrars. Domain registrars. Please put that in the chat for me as well. Domain registrars. These registrars are companies whose business it is to serve customers. This means that if you need a domain name, instead of going directly to ICANN, you need to go to these accredited registrars. They are the ones who can help you get a domain registered. And the moment the name is registered, it is registered globally in the whole wide world, and the name will be registered in your name. This means that you are the only one who has access to the name and control over the name. If you want to provide domain registration as a service, and in the web business, domain registration is a separate service from web hosting. And so you are going to discover that there are companies who provide probably only hosting services, and there are companies who provide probably only domain registration services. and others providing web designing services. Most of the time, you are not going to find companies that provide all of these services. But then, you as a business, you are going to be a web design company that provides web services to customers in your country and around the world. And for you to be able to provide the services, you need to partner with a domain registrar, you need to partner with a web hosting company, and you be the website designer. And these partnerships that you have will become the resources that you use to serve your customers. And so your customers will come to you for their websites to be done. For them, they don't think too much about we need a domain name, we need hosting, we need a website design. You will let them know what it's and where the costs come from. And so you are going to charge for domain name, web hosting, and website design. Your customers do not need to know where you register your domains or how you register it. They must see you as a company that provides that service. And they have to understand the terms and conditions that domain names are registered on a yearly basis. What that means is that after you register your domain name, after 1 year, it has to be renewed. There are a few clients that you meet who will think that once you put up a website for them, it is on forever. It doesn't work that way. The website will not be on forever. Probably the design will be on if you don't want to make any changes, but the domain name has to be renewed every year. And the web hosting has to be renewed every year. And so if you set up a web business, what is going to happen is that you are going to have customers who pay your company every year. And so if you can build the structures of an effective web business, web company, you are going to have customers who pay you every year and who bring revenue every year. Whether you do work for them or not, you get revenue from your customers on a yearly basis. So suddenly, you become like these companies who provide subscription services, and they have a lot of customers who are paying them little. But these revenues are automatic. They come in without working. Okay, it's like having passive income. They come in without working. And so if you have a number of clients, a number of customers, it will get to a time that all your customers will be paying on a yearly basis, whether you've done new work or not. And as you build new clients and you get new projects, you keep on generating revenue. And so starting up an effective web design company, whether as a freelancer, you can begin as a freelancer, or you can set up a real company to provide these services. And all that you need to provide these services are what we are going to be discussing in this class. I mentioned that in Africa, there are a lot of web business here. There are a lot of companies that are yet to go online. A lot of schools that are yet to be properly put online. A lot of churches, a lot of hotels, a lot of companies that are yet to be properly represented online. And these jobs are done by web developers and web designers like us. Now, if you have a lot of clients, what is going to happen is that almost every week, it is going to be 1 year for someone. Almost every month is going to be 1 year for a client. And so when the company is properly built, revenue will be coming in on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. If you build to a certain level and you have clients. What I'm going to do now is to introduce you to your domain registration partners that you have to work with. And what you have to do is to register with them. And the moment you create your account, you are good to start working. You don't need any extra arrangement. Once you register and create an account, you are good to do business. So the first domain registrar I'm going to show you, I want to see it in the chat. And the name is GoDaddy. Please type GoDaddy in the chat for me. The first time I mentioned GoDaddy to students, they were like, what is GoDaddy? It doesn't sound like a web company. What is GoDaddy? But you have to understand that GoDaddy is a world's #1 domain name registrar. In the whole wide world, this company that was built from scratch is the #1 domain registrar in the whole wide world. They have millions and millions and millions of customers. And most web companies partner with GoDaddy. And you will partner with GoDaddy just by creating an account. Your customers do not need to know that you work with GoDaddy. They don't even think about it. They will not even ask you. All right? They will not even ask you. All they need is to have their website working. And with your partnership with GoDaddy, GoDaddy will give you all the support you need to solve any problem you encounter. GoDaddy has a team that is ready to help you with any challenge you face. When it comes to domain registration, we don't really have a lot of challenges in domain registration. Sometimes in hosting, there are issues. And in the web design, there may be issues. But for domains, once you register, it is just registered. Unless it is time to point it to a server, and you are trying to point it to a server and you are having certain challenges, or you don't fully understand that when you change the name servers to another server. What do I mean by this? We use name servers to point a domain to a server. When we get to web hosting, I'm going to mention this again, and I don't want you to forget it. We use something called name servers. That is how it is called. We use the name servers to point a domain to a server. Why would you point a domain to a server? Because the website lives on a server. And the domain you have registered is just a registration. The domain and the web hosting, they are two different things that are independent. But there has to be a link that is done using something called name servers. Every web server has name servers of the server. So every web server comes with its name servers. So if you choose a server that this is a server I'm going to use for my hosting, you have to ask for the name servers of that server. Once you get the name servers of that server, you go to your domain account. There's a section in the domain control panel where you need to input the name servers of your server. It is in every domain account. And the moment you input the name servers, you have given an instruction to the domain that if anybody types you in a web browser, point to this server. And so the IP of the server, the DNS of the server will come through the name servers, and the name server carries all the information the domain name needs to connect your customers or the visitors of your website to the server that is hosting the website. And so when somebody types the address www.yourname.com, it takes them straight to the website. They don't even know what happened. Whenever you change name servers, I'll mention this in the web hosting class, it takes 72 hours to do something we call DNS propagation. It takes something to do what we call DNS propagation. And this DNS propagation completes within 72 hours. What this means is that when you change name servers to a new server, the content of the server doesn't pop up immediately. And so if you don't have that understanding, you may be asking GoDaddy that my domain is not connected to my server. But they will tell you that it is propagating. This propagation is done at a global scale. What that means is that your website is updated at all the internet endpoints around the world. And it takes 72 hours to complete. What this means is that your website can show in Ghana, but it's not showing in Nigeria yet. Maybe in the next 10 hours, it will show in Nigeria. Maybe in the next 20 hours, it will show in China. But in 72 hours, the whole world is propagated and the website will show everywhere. We call that DNS propagation, and it takes place when you update the name servers. These name servers, don't forget it. Just hear it, keep it somewhere. When we get to hosting, it is going to be a major issue that if you forget it, you don't understand it, it is going to create a problem connecting your name to your server. I don't know if I asked you to type name servers in the chat. I did, right? Okay. All right. Now, what I'm going to do now is to take you to GoDaddy. And we are going to register our name. And I'm going to be introducing other technologies to you, like Cloudflare. When we get to hosting, please type Cloudflare in the chat. However you hear it, please type it in the chat. Cloudflare. Cloudflare. And I'll explain Cloudflare to you and let you understand how amazing Cloudflare is. Because DNS propagation is supposed to take 72 hours to complete, but Cloudflare can let your propagation complete in 5 minutes. It's an incredible new technology. And Cloudflare provides other benefits that makes your site faster and a lot of other benefits that you can't do without. And so once you understand how to configure a website and a web server, you realize that you are drawn to Cloudflare and you are using Cloudflare a lot. Let's go to GoDaddy, and we are going to, what we are going to do is to see their website and figure out what we can do on GoDaddy. And so I'm going to share my screen. And I want you to also open your browser and type GoDaddy.com. GoDaddy.com. Students always ask me, what is GoDaddy? Why is it GoDaddy? Well, that is their company. They've been here for the past 20 years. Since I started web design, I've always been working with GoDaddy. They've been there all the time. All right. Now, when you visit GoDaddy, you have visited a website that only people who build websites visit. And this company is going to be one of your partners because this is where you are also going to get the job done for your clients. And so over here, what you are going to discover is that you can register names for your clients. And the names you register instantly registers with ICANN. It doesn't need to take 5 days or 3 days or 72 hours. The moment you register and you make payments, the name is taken for you. And we are going to understand that if you register a name, that name belongs to you, and nobody has the right to take it from you. Because on the World Wide Web, there are billions of names, and there is a competition of names. Why competition? Because someone may be interested in the name you have, but they cannot get it because you registered it first. And so since the web began, people have been registering names. For example, you can never dream of registering facebook.com. Is it possible to go and register facebook.com? It doesn't matter whether Facebook is a big or small company. Is it possible to register facebook.com? Who can tell me in the chat? Is it possible? I don't know if you can hear me. Is it possible? It is absolutely impossible to register facebook.com. Why? Because another company has registered it. You can't say that I want to register at google.com. You can't register google.com no matter how much money you have. You can't do that. There are some companies who can approach another company that, please, we like your name. We are a multinational company. We like your name and we want to buy your name. So how much will you sell your name to us? Okay, you can choose that I'm not going to sell, or pay me so and so and so thousands of dollars and I'll sell. For example, let me take you to a website, and this website is glow.com. Now, this glow.com, when you hear glow.com, which company do you think should own this name? For me, when I hear this, I think of Globacom. Globacom is a company that most of you have heard of. I don't know if you've heard of Globacom in your country. But Glow is a telecommunication giant. They came to Ghana several years ago and they advertised massively, and everybody in Ghana knows Glow.com, unless you were born last week. Sorry, everybody in Ghana knows Glow. So you think Glow.com should belong to Glow, a very big company, Glow. But when you visit Glow.com, look at what you are seeing here. I'm seeing the top yoga and wellness platform. Wait a minute. I thought I was going to see telecommunication and I was going to see fiber broadband services and I was going to see airtime and bundle services and things. But I'm seeing yoga. Wait a minute. This website here probably belongs to an individual running their yoga business. And they are using the domain name Glow. I'm sure the company Globalcom will go like, this name should be mine. This is my brand. I'm supposed to have this name, but you know what will happen? They cannot do anything about it. The only thing they can do is to contact this yoga company and ask that we want to buy your name and we will pay for it. Will you sell to us? I'm very sure they've done that. The first time I checked this Glow website was 2015. That was the first time I checked it. And I saw this yoga company in 2015, 9 years ago. So for all this while, this name belongs to this yoga company. And Glow cannot do anything about it because they have registered it. But if this company decides to sell the name, they can sell this name for a lot of money. Number one reason, every short form name is highly valuable and is highly sought after and expensive. To get a name with 3-letter words, when it comes to domain registration, I think it is the most difficult thing to do. A 3-letter domain name, almost impossible to form a 3-letter domain name right now. Think of the billions of people in the world and think of when the web started. They have registered all those names. Even a 4-letter name, I don't think you'll get. You have to be super, super creative to come up with a 5-letter or 6-letter name that you'll get. Tomorrow, we'll talk about choosing your name, how to choose your domain name. And so all that we are going to learn now, don't rush to register any name yet. Let's take time and go through how to choose a name. And I've just mentioned one. Now, the longer your name is, the bad it is. The shorter your name is, the good it is. It is better to have a shorter name than a long name. Mr. Ibu and Sons Constructions Limited.com. I mean, why? Before someone finishes typing Mr. Ibu and Sons Constructions Limited.com, they would have missed a letter somewhere. And they will land on an error page or somewhere else. And a lot of people will give up visiting your website. The first and the best thing you can do for any website is to choose the right name. If the company is now being formed, you have to think about your website address right from the start when you are forming the company. And if you come up with a name and you can't get the domain for it, you are probably supposed to change it. I can't start a company that I'll not get the domain, or someone else has registered the domain and it is showing a different website. I'll talk about these things tomorrow. Let's go back to GoDaddy. So GoDaddy here is your domain registration partner. This is where you register your name. Now, if you want to register a name, the first thing you do is called name search. Just like companies, to register a company, you need to do name search. So you go to the Registrar General in Ghana or in your country, whatever it is called, then you do name search first. If no one has registered that name, then we say it is available. Then you register it. If we say it is not available or it is taken, it means that you can't have it. Now, when it comes to websites, if you want to check if a name is available, the wrong thing to do is to go to the address bar. I'm saying the wrong thing to do is to go to the address bar and try searching for the name. My new website name.com. I go and check. If I don't see a website, then I think that I can use it. Wrong. This is not how to check if a name is available or not. 1,000 times, no, we don't do this. Because this does not mean that the name is available, and it does not mean that the name is not available. Registering a name is just registration of name. It has nothing to do with design or interface. There can be a name registered that has no design on it. So here is a wrong place to do your name search. You can't also go to Google and search on Google. It's terribly wrong. So why do we do that? There's a place where you can search for a name, and that search will be run directly in the icon database to check if a domain name exists or has been previously registered. There is a special box we use for this purpose, and this box here, we call it the domain registration search box. Please type that in the chat for me. Domain registration search box. You can just say the domain search box or domain name search box or domain registration search box. On GoDaddy, you find such a box. This is the domain registration search box. This is where you search for a domain name. This is not Google search engine. This is not Yahoo search engine, because those search engines cannot give you what we are looking for, but this box on GoDaddy can. And so over here, we are going to check if a name is available or not. I want someone from this class to give us any name that we should check whether it is available or not. So please type something in the chat and let's check. We are just checking whether it is available or not available. Just type anything. Just type anything. And let's check whether it is available or not available. Just type it and I'll check it for you. You can also check over there, but let's just get interactive. I want to have the extension, okay? If you tell me Vonnie Santi, we've learned about domain extensions, you need to understand that the extension is also important. So please add the extension to it. And when I say extension, I believe you know what I'm talking about. Add extensions. So mount.com. So Emmanuel says we should check for mount.com. Now, do you think you will get it? Mount is so generic that I don't think you will get it. And I'm not saying that you will not get it for you not to get it, but it is so easy that in the whole wide world, we are talking about the whole world here. Do you think someone has registered mount.com? Let's check. Mount.com. Let's see. What do you see here? If you can see this, please tell me. What do you see here? If you can see this, please tell me. What do you see? It's taken. This means that it is gone. It's not available. You can't get it. But Mount.com is too generic. Let's try another one. Someone says RAM-SAM. Okay, let's see. So we come here, we type RAM-SAM. And this is a very important search. RAM-SAM, that one put there, they won't tell you that it's domain taken. They give you direct. They say RAM-SAM is taken. You don't have it. You don't have it. RAM-SAM is gone. You don't have it. Someone else has it. Hmm. All right. What else? I can see Radar. Let's check radar.com. Radar.com and radar.com, sorry, radar.com is not there. But GoDaddy is giving you an alternative. They are saying the radar.com is there. So if on the radar, they are telling you that it is there and they are telling you the price. So very soon we are going to be discussing domain prices. Okay. But the radar is there. So if you want it, you can take it, or you can scroll down and check all the available ones. They have radar.online. Do you like .online? You can buy for 0.99 for the first year. Do you want radar.shop? So today we have new extensions like .online, like .shop, .live, .tech, .ai, .club, .vip, .cloud, .store, .live, .co. And .co is premium. Very soon I'll be mentioning premium to you. We even have .world. All right. So let's check one that we think will be available. Let's see Gvents. Gloria, I don't think gvents.org is there. Let's see. Maybe my Gvents is done. It looks too easy. But with an S is available. And don't be quick to choose what you don't want. Make sure you get what you want. Sometimes it's going to be hard to come up with a name, but it is possible to come up with a name. It is possible to come up with a name because people register names all the time. Okay. People create names all the time. New companies are coming up and new creative people are creating names all the time. All right. So let's try Vonisanti and see. Maybe this is what we are going to get. Now, we are not saying that if it is long, then you get it. It should just be unique. It's a uniqueness that is a point. So Bonisanti is available. We got an exact match, and this means it is available. They didn't tell you that it is taken, so it is available. So Bonisanti.com is a name. You can go ahead and register. I'm not saying registered yet. Okay. After tomorrow, you will know whether you should register or not, but it is available for you. All right. The fact that vonisanti.com is available does not mean vonisanti.net is available. The fact that vonisanti.com is available does not mean vonisanti.net is available. Or it could mean that vonisanti.net is available because GoDaddy is saying that vonisanti.org is available. Please take it. Plus take.net, plus take.xyz, plus take.store. All of them, they'll give it to you at $20. Wow, that's a cool deal. Why are we talking about this? You have to understand that the rules of the web and the technicalities of the web and web business says that a domain name with a different extension is a completely different name from the other extension. So vonisanti.com is completely different from vonisanti.net. Legally, it is not recognized as the same. On the web stage, the only security you have to protect your brand name is you taking it yourself, you registering it. Because if you don't register vonisanti.net or .org and someone registers it, it belongs to that person and you can't do anything about it. That person will tell you that vonisanti.net or .org means so and so in their country or to them. For you, it has a very sentimental meaning, and you say that this is my company. There is no law that says it is your company. You didn't register it. That same way, Glow cannot say that everybody knows we are Glow, so give me glow.com. You can't do that. Someone else registered it first. And so this is what some companies have done. I'm not saying you should do it. You know, if you're a small company, a lot of things don't happen to you, and don't waste your money, don't waste your time doing a whole lot of things. As a matter of fact, the vonisanti.org, .net, .xyz, please don't buy them. Just focus on what you need for now. Unless you are a popular brand, okay, then advise your clients this way to take these extensions because of the brand name. But if you are a beginner, the .com is the hottest one. If you don't have the .com, then I will advise you to get a .com. That one I will advise you, but I'm not going to advise you to waste your money buying all this. Don't do that. If GoDaddy is promoting it to you, don't do that because it's a waste of money. For the next 1 year, nobody is going to worry about your brand that is now coming up like that, unless it has caught fire. But then, if your name has a slight similarity, and it is possible for someone mistaking your name for that similarity, then you are be advised to register both of them and do what we call domain redirection. For example, I'm going to give you the extension example first, then I'll give you the variation example. There is something called domain redirection. Please put that in the chat for me if you can hear me. Domain redirection. So I'll spend time talking about some of the things here. And domain redirection is here. This means that your intended domain can be one name, but because of the protection of your name, you can register other names that people are likely to visit by mistake, or people may want to register to impersonate your company. And when you register the other ones, because you don't want it to mislead people or give people errors, you can apply what is called domain redirection so that you can redirect them to the correct version of your name. For example, let's come up here and let's visit google.net, okay? Do you think Google, as big as Google is, will allow .net to be free? 1,000 times no. Google is so big that they will not allow .NET. They are not even thinking someone will make a mistake and type google.net. They are not thinking that. But this is a cybersecurity reason. They won't allow a hacker to go and register google.net because the hacker can do a lot of damage with it. And so watch what is going to happen. All I am going to do is to hit enter on my keyboard. Then I want you to look at the address bar and tell me what you see. Right now, you see google.net, but when I hit enter now, let's see what will happen when it finally loads. What do you see? I didn't type anything again. What do you see now? Please put it in the chat for me. Please put it in the chat for me. Please put it in the chat for me. We see google.com. So what you are experiencing, you may not think much of it, but this is what we refer to as domain redirection. You can redirect a different name to a correct intended name because Google is telling you that this is what we want you to visit. But because you visited our .NET, we want to bring you to the correct one. We call it domain redirection. Later, we'll learn about domain parking, subdomain, and a whole lot. Let's ask Google how many searches does Google get per second? Let's see per second. Watch this. If we check this, they will tell you that there are 99,000 searches per second. And if not because of ChatGPT, this one would have been probably times 30. Because today, most people will go to ChatGPT instead of Google. Google has lost business to ChatGPT. But right now, 99,000 searches per second. We just said per second. And this translates to 8.5 billion searches in a day. This means in one day, we have 8.5 billion searches on google.com. A day, we didn't say a year or a month. There are websites who do not get 8.5 billion visitors in 10 years. Sometimes when you become successful, what you earn in a day is what someone earns in a lifetime. Someone gave a story. The person said, my father was so poor. At the end of the month, he gets his salary and he rides his bicycle home singing, and he comes and we spend the money and he begins the month again. And he worked so hard for 40 years, earning very, very little income. And this same person said that God has blessed me so much that there was a day, there was a time in my life that what I earned in a day was more than my father's salary for all his career put together. All his lifetime, the salaries he earned put together, what his son earns in one day is more than what his father earned in 40 years. One day you are going to be so successful that what you earn in a day will be more than somebody's 10 years salary. I thought someone would say amen or something like that. Okay. So every day there are 8.5 billion searches on Google. Now, if Google does not make sure they direct all the traffic, and we'll be using technical terms like traffic, that talks about the number of visitors trying to access your site. If Google doesn't optimize and manage and direct the traffic effectively, and because of one small mistake, they can lose millions of people in a day. Now they have billions. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to type Google and make a mistake. I'm going to type Google and type 3 O's. Now, is it possible that someone will try visiting Google and by mistake they type 3 O's? Is it possible? I'm just asking you. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. So Google, looking at all the traffic they are getting, Google, let's see what will happen first. I'm going to hit enter. What do you see? It has redirected to Google. So Google has done a lot of analysis and they have registered all the variations of their names. So they will not allow you to go and register google.co and say it is for you. Because if they don't register first and you register, you see that it has gone to come. This is called domain redirection. Only the technical people know these things. Okay, so someone said we should try with double G. Let's see. Okay. I don't know. It's not opening. Let me try with 1O and see. It has gone to google.com and it has an error. Whatever it is, Google has made sure. Let's go to GoDaddy and let's say that we want to register Google with 1O. Let's see, with 1O. Let's see if they'll tell us we can get it. My God. Okay. I told you that we'll be encountering something called premium domain names or premium names. I'm going to tell you what premium means. What is happening here is something else. I'll talk about it when we get there. Wow. Can you see the amount? Wow. Anyway. Wait a minute. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. It's part of what I'm building. But I'm going to ask Google to give me the Google with double G. I'm going to ask GoDaddy to give me Google with double G. Let's see if I'll get it. I will not get it. It has been taken. It's not possible. Google will not allow you to take anything that is very close to their name. If they don't redirect it, a lot of people will try visiting and they will get an error. I am pretty sure a lot of people will try visiting Google with double G. So Google will register the names down and redirect it. When it comes to variation, let's say someone knows your company as riseinTechAfrica.com. That's how someone knows your company. So they'll try searching with that name. Now, when you hit enter, risingtechafrica.com, look at what is happening. It is going to redirect to rateafrica.com. So this is telling you that we have bought the two names, but the one that we use is Rita Africa. But because we have ownership of the second one, we can do domain redirection. Someone too will say that I want to visit Rita Africa, but makes a mistake and just say use 1A. When I hit enter, let's see what will happen. It has corrected it. How did it correct? There is nothing like editing in domain names. Please listen to what I said. There is nothing like editing. If you want to buy a domain and you intended to register google.com and you registered Google with double G and you have finished the process, you have paid for it, there is nothing like, okay, let me edit and remove 1G. There is nothing like that. Because by making any change, it is a different name now. So the only thing you can do is to have the correct one also. And you have the ability to do what we call redirection. So you can redirect a wrong name to a correct name. Probably not wrong, but maybe a variation that some of your customers may think that is the correct one. There are some companies whose names are .org, whose domain names run on .org. All those customers, and when you meet a client like that, tell all your clients to register the .com. The .com is the hottest one because if you don't own the .com, you're in trouble. Cyber criminals will easily get you because the .com is like the main symbol of your name, even if you intend to use .org. And so register the .org and the .com and redirect the .com to the .org because you want to use the .org. All right. I am not telling you that anytime you want to register a domain, register every possible variation, register all extensions. I am not telling you. The only thing I'm telling you is that domain redirection is possible. That's the only thing I'm telling you. And I'm also telling you that if the brand is that important and you have the resources, you can choose to do that. But as a startup that is now building from scratch, that does not have resources, it is not really necessary unless that name is a serious discovery that if you don't take it, you may lose it. There are some names, you discover them today, tomorrow they are gone. There are some names when you dream about them and you check and they are available, you don't wait for 1 minute. Wherever the money is, you will find it and register it now because it is a blessing to own that name. All right. Let me try one of the names you gave me. And I'm going to say something else. Let me try, let's see. Radar.com. Let's try radar.com again. We've already tried it. When you try radar.com and GoDaddy tells you it is taken, GoDaddy can also tell you that now I'm getting into domain auction. Please type domain auction in the chat for me. Okay. I'm going to say something first. I'll talk about the broker service, then I'll talk about domain auction. Domain auction. All right. So someone is saying that, would you advise a fintech company to register all the possible names? Now, You have to understand that every name costs money to register and to maintain. All right. And the cost of the domain is based on the extension. Very soon we are going to see the price of domains. Let's see. On GoDaddy, this is their price. This price is for the first year. Please listen carefully. I didn't say domain option. I said domain auction. 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 Okay. This is the price of domain, the .com. Okay. GoDaddy sells domain by extension. So every .com will cost 11.99 on GoDaddy for the first year. The extension means the .com, the .net, the .org. If you missed yesterday's class, please watch the video. It has been shared on Slack, and you can understand what the extensions are. Also, feel free to ask any question. If your question requires you to speak, please raise your hand, and I'm going to call you to speak. And if I don't see that you've raised your hand, because on my screen, all I see is what I'm sharing, Sonia will alert me, and I will allow you to speak. Okay, so domains are not for free. Okay, GoDaddy charges 11.99 for the first year and 21.99 for renewal. This means that next year, instead of paying 11.99, you're going to pay 21.99 for next year. And for the following all the years, this is what you are going to be paying until they change their prices. So this is how it is. All right. So you as a business, you have to know that this is how much it will cost you to buy the domain for your clients. And so when you are sending an invoice, you send an invoice with a price that includes your profits. And you have to understand that as far as GoDaddy is concerned, this is how much they will charge you next year. So this is actually the price of their domains. This one, they are giving this to you because they want to invite you into their service. All right. I will recommend other partners that you can also work with. For GoDaddy, sometimes their prices are a little higher, but then in terms of service quality, GoDaddy is definitely number one. I'll mention the number two in terms of popularity, and they also provide excellent services, excellent quality services, plus support services. But their prices are lesser than GoDaddy prices. All right, let's talk about domain auction. This is how the auction works. I'll start with the broker service. GoDaddy has a broker service, and they tell you that even though this radar.com is taken, we might be able to help you get it. Pay a broker fee of $119.99, and we will work on it for you to get it. What does that mean? What it means is this. They say, see how. When we click here, it means that, number one, you are going to get a dedicated broker, someone who will follow the name for you. What would a person do? When you purchase the broker service, a dedicated broker will help you formulate a strategy and a budget to try to acquire the domain. Wait a minute, we are talking about somebody's domain. So what in the world are they talking about? Number two, the broker works the deal for you. Okay, so there's a deal involved. What does that mean? They go to work with the domain owner. Oh, okay. They work with the owner, trying to convince the owner to sell. and they will bargain on your behalf for the lowest price possible. Because when it comes to somebody selling their name, they can choose any price. And if you are interested, you buy it. If you are not interested, you go. You can't do anything about it. GoDaddy is saying that we can be the middleman for you. And we will talk to the owner for you on your behalf. Now, the owner may be trying to sell the domain to, but most of the time not. They are using it for their business. Why did I say they may be trying to sell their domain to? Because domain auction is a business. The domain auction you put in the chat, it is business. There are people and companies who are in the business of buying names that they think someone will need. And so they buy and wait for somebody to need that name, and the person will contact them to sell. There is a way to advertise that you are selling your domain. Or you can put up a web page and say, this domain is for sale. One of the ways to advertise, I'm going to show you, but I'll talk about how people sell names. Now, when it comes to domain auction, we are no longer talking about domain registration costs. No, because domain registration costs is usually around $10. GoDaddy is selling $11.99, so $12. That is how domains cost. Almost everywhere, your domain should not cost more than $16. But when we come to auction, when we talk about auction, auction means somebody naming their own price based on the value they attach to the name. If you are able to buy from them, they can do what we call domain transfer. Later, we'll talk about domain transfer. And they can transfer ownership. So the broker is saying that we will allow the domain to be securely transferred to you so that you own it. Once the domain is transferred, it leaves the current owner to the new owner. And tomorrow I'll talk about domain transfer for you to understand that transfer is also possible. And there are a lot of scenarios that may require transfer. One of them is when a name is sold. Tomorrow I'll talk about the rest. Most of the time, that is not the case, but it could be. Anytime you search for a domain and you get the tag premium, let me look for another name, weblive.com. Last time we tried searching for this. Anytime you search for a domain and you see the tag premium domain, anytime you see premium domain, what it means is that this is not availability and it's not the actual registration cost. This means that this name is in auction and the owner is selling it. But the owner is also selling through GoDaddy because GoDaddy allows people who want to sell their domains to contact them and to sell through them. So if the owner is selling through GoDaddy, then the broker service will be even easier. You don't have to worry about contacting the owner with the broker. Sorry, you don't have to worry about convincing the owner to sell. If the owner is already selling, then it is going to be easier. The only thing is that if somebody is selling a name, sometimes they give unbelievable prices. Look at the price of weblive.com. If today you want to own this WebLive, this is how much you are going to pay. $794,888. Maybe a company may buy it that we want to set up. People buy all the time. It is big business. This is what we call domain auction. It is a business of buying and selling names. Now, wait a minute. What is going on? You see, the person who registered weblive.com, he didn't register it because he has a dream to build a business with it. He bought it because the name looks good. And it's possible that in the whole world, someone may need it. And so they are very smart people who sit down and they come up with names. The same way that if you want to start a business, you think and think. Tomorrow, that's going to be one of your assignments to create a name. But then we are going to learn how to choose a name first. After you create your name, you go ahead and you register it. There are people who do that on a large scale and on a daily basis. They dream of names and they keep searching and searching and searching and searching and searching like treasure hunters. Once they find a good name that nobody has registered, they register and they sell. And once they get one sale, they've made a lot of money. This is too much. I mean, $700,000. And today I just saw the Google with double L. Is it a double L we search now? No, it's not a double L. Which one was that? We searched for some Google. Which one was that? Double O, double L. Okay, let's see. Can you imagine? Okay, it's not double O, double L. Which one was that? We searched for Google with, is it one O? Let's try one O. Yes, with one O. So over here, what is happening is this. What this means is that whoever registered this, some years ago, I saw that Google owned this. I saw it because I've done this training over several times and we've done the same searching several times. This means that it is possible for you to forget to renew your name. It can happen. So there's something called domain renewal. Tomorrow I'll stress more on it. When you register a domain name, after 1 year, you have to renew it. That's why I said if you have customers, every year they have to pay for renewal. And if you don't renew, their name will go off. Their name will be off. So the name needs to be renewed. If you don't renew your name, it is going to disconnect from the server. This means if anybody types the name, they will not land on the site, on the website. They will land on an error page. And if you are not lucky, it used to happen in the past. And if you use a wrong registrar, if you are not lucky, they will tell everybody that this domain has expired. They will tell everybody. If you are lucky, it will give an error page. If you are not lucky, they'll tell everybody this name has expired. But then if the time is up and you don't renew, someone asks, so when do we renew? You renew before the time is up. Right from day one, after registering it, the only thing you cannot do from day one is that you need 60 days before any change can happen to the name. You need 60 days. Please listen carefully. If a name was just renewed or a name was just bought, you cannot transfer it. You cannot renew it in the first 60 days. After the first 60 days, you can do anything you want. You can add more years to renew. This means that if it's supposed to be off in 2025, you can add 2 more years to renew in 27 or 2030. Where will you be in 2030? Wow. All right. So you can renew any day. For me, I inform my clients 60 days to the end. Then they start preparing. And I ask for payment 30 days to the end. So 30 days to the time they have to make payments. Some of them delay in paying. So you don't have to ask on the last day. You can ask, inform them 60 days and ask for the money 30 days. And once they make the payments, you make sure you renew before the day. If you don't renew, it will disconnect from the server and you'll be told either the domain has expired for everybody to know, but for you, you definitely know in your account that you are left with so and so days for this name to expire. You even receive an email that this name is about to expire. Now, once it expires and you have still not done it, you have a grace period for a few weeks, 1, 2, 3 maximum. After the 3 weeks, the domain will be locked. Okay, listen carefully. It will be locked. This means even if you are ready to pay, you can't unless you pay a recovery fee. Unless you pay a recovery fee. And that recovery fee is a lot. But then that is also another period for about 30 days for redemption, not recovery, redemption. It also means recovery. Redemption fee. If you don't pay the redemption fee, they are not really asking you to pay. They are only telling you that at this stage, if you want it, you pay redemption fee plus the renewal fee. And the redemption fee is a lot. If you are supposed to pay $20 to renew, now redemption fee may cost you about $180 or $120. That's a lot. So you may not want to do it, or you may want to do it, depending on how important your name is. But if your name is so important, then it shouldn't expire in the first place. Why should it expire? And if you realize it has expired, you need to renew it quickly. If your client's name is expiring, you need to be on them to renew it. And there are some clients you are going to meet, they think that the name should be there forever. It doesn't work like that. So you need to have terms and conditions, explain to your client right from the beginning that this name has to be renewed every year. If within the redemption period, you still don't renew it, what is going to happen is that the name is going to be deleted from registry. What that also means is that the name will be public again. What that means is that if you search for the name, they will tell you that it is available again. What that means is that anybody can register that name at that point because it no longer belongs to you. And this happens a lot. I've experienced this countless times. Most of the time, the people behind domain auction, or those who do business of registering names in hope that someone will come and buy, one of the things they do a lot most of the time is companies who forget to renew their names on time. Because I'll be telling you about how to follow a name to know when it's going to expire. If your company, this time you don't even have to be a big company. If your website has gained a little traffic and has gained a little popularity and you don't renew on time, you are thinking, okay, it has gotten to redemption mode, so I don't want to pay the extra money. Let's wait for it to be free. That thing is very dangerous, especially if you have kept the site for 3, 4, 5 years and now you couldn't renew. The moment it is free, it will shock you. A Chinese company will register it. Why do I say Chinese company? Anybody will register it. But mostly the companies I've seen who do those things, they are Chinese. They'll register your name because it no longer belongs to you. And if you want it back, they are going to charge you auction fee for your own name that you didn't renew. So leaving your name to expire unless you have made a decision that you are not going to continue with this name again. All right. That's out of the way. When it comes to domain auction, you can advertise your name that you are selling on on GoDaddy. And you can look at how much somebody is charging. I don't know what this is. Is this 100 million or what? Are you kidding me? But the name looks so good. So Google forgot to register this name, renew this. I saw this name that Google registered it, but they didn't renew it. This can happen to anyone. For example, one day we were there at the office and we just realized that myjoyonline.com was not working. I don't think Google will be selling. No, 1,000 times no. Google will not sell. Their name is their brand. They won't. This is even a threat. They won't. So Manager Online was off. We checked and checked and checked, and later we realized that it was the domain name that was expired because the domain name was registered like 15 years ago, and everybody had forgotten about it. So we didn't know that that day was the 15-year time. Nobody knew. And we realized that it was off. So we had to quickly find a way to go and renew it. Imagine you lose such a name. The whole business is the name. Domain names, if you compare the price of a normal domain registration, web hosting, website designing, domain cost is like the cheapest. $10, $11, $16. But the name represents the entire organization. The name represents the entire brand. And whoever did the registration has full control over the site. And so if you are serving a client, make sure that you are the one who registered the name for them. Because with the name being with you alone, you have control over the business that you have gotten. If someone else registers the name for them, you can lose your business with them. Because whoever controls the name controls everything else. Controls which server we should use and which design we should have. So one of the controls you may want to have, or you will want to have, is to have the domain under your control. So sometimes you come across premium and you see that, like this one, google.world is $200. And you'll be searching for different names and you see premium. Premium means someone is selling. What it means is on GoDaddy, when you visit godaddy.com, apart from you registering domain names, you can also come here under domains and say that you want to do auction business. You can see it here. This auction business means that you have names that you have registered and you want them to sell for you. So they'll charge you a small fee and they'll advertise it for you. How would they advertise it? If somebody searches for any name closer to yours or in the recommendation system, your name will pop up and they'll tell the person that it is under auction or it's a premium name. And they will see your price and the person can buy your name through GoDaddy. Or you can put up a website yourself, a simple page, and say that this name is for sale. So anyone who tries to visit it will see. When I return from the break, I'm going to tell you about who is Please type who is in the chat for me. It's one word. Who is a tool. Let me go back to the list of things I'm talking about. There is something called who is. Please type it in the chat. After the break, I'm going to talk about who is, and you will know what that tool is. A powerful tool. Who is. So thank you so much. I'm going to see you shortly after the break.
All right. So welcome back, everybody, to our web masterclass. This training is a business training, and it is training you to understand the business of putting up websites and the technical knowledge involved, the business knowledge involved, and how to create websites for yourself, your own projects, for your company, and also for your clients. But then at the end of the day, you are gaining real world experience about important tools that will help you in your career to be able to apply in the field. For the first 3 days, we are talking about domains, and we have introduced you to a domain registration partner called a domain registrar that you can work with called GoDaddy. And so you can create an account on GoDaddy. And the moment you do that, there's only one thing you need more. Once you acquire that, or you have that, most of you already have, you are ready to register domain names and you are ready to do business with GoDaddy. All right.
We were talking about domain auction and how someone can buy a domain and someone can own a domain. There is a tool that is called Who Is. Who is a global tool that gives you access to the database of all domains for you to discover who is behind the domain. That tool is called Who Is. And Who is a tool that tells you who is behind the domain name. And so if you visit GoDaddy, you can get Who Is on GoDaddy, or you can get Who Is anywhere else. For example, on GoDaddy, you can see this over here. If my screen is still visible, please tell me what I have highlighted. I don't know if you can see that I've highlighted something. Tell me what I have highlighted. What is it? What have I highlighted? Please tell me. Who Is. Now, this Who Is, it is a tool. The name is Who Is. So you don't find out what it means. The name of a tool. It's called Who Is. Now, this Who Is, when you click on it, it asks you to input any name. And once you input a name, Who Is will tell you who is behind the name. This means who the name belongs to, where the name was registered, when it was registered, when it was renewed, when it is going to expire, and the contact details of the one who owns it. So let's search for any name. For example, radar.com. Let's search. With Who Is, we are going to get information about radar.com. Of course, we know it's taken. That's not what we are interested in. We are interested in the Who Is search. Now, the first thing we are going to know about Who Is a registrar. That means the company that registered Who Is. Sorry, that registered radar.com. Radar.com was not registered by GoDaddy. You would have seen it over here. Radar.com was registered by a company called Register SPA. Whichever company registered radar.com, you will see it over here. I'm not talking about who it belongs to, but where the person who it belongs to registered it. Look at the creation date. Radar.com was registered 1999. One time you are going to meet a client who will tell you that I told you my name and you went and you registered it behind my back. Tell the person that, wait a minute. Take the person to who is, and you will know when the name was registered. The name was registered 1999 before you even dreamt of it. So here we will know someone, because one client will tell you that I told you my idea and you went and you registered it. And now you're telling me it's not available. Tell the person that let's go to who is. So you see when it was registered. You are going to see updated date. Updated date means when it was recently updated, probably renewed, mostly renewed. So we can say that the name was renewed recently. The last renewal was done 2018. After 2018, there hasn't been a renewal. And it was renewed for an additional 10 years. And so this is the expiry date. This name will be free 2028. So if you are thinking of waiting for the name, forget it. This person paid for 10 years in advance, 2028. Sometimes some people are waiting for a name to expire because most people register their name for just 1 year. It's okay to register your name for just 1 year. If it's a startup, just register for 1 year. When the time is up, if you are still doing the business, you renew it. Nobody will tell you to renew it. So the least you can do is 1 year. And I'm not saying go and pay 10 years in advance. No, just take it easy. Register 1 year for now. Next year, you can renew. When the business takes off, you can add more years or whatever you want to do, just do. All right. So we are on who is. And we have seen the information that who is provides. Number one, who is has told us which partner was used. Who is has told us when the name was first registered. This information, do you think is good? It's very good because it can solve a lot of problems. Who is has told us when it was updated and when it will expire. This is a public database. This is not a domain account. A domain account, like the one you will have, you already have this information in your account every day about your name. But who is a public database that you can research on anybody's name to know the details of the name. Apart from that information, you are also going to know the name servers. This particular name is providing us with 3 name servers. And if you have never seen in your life what name servers look like, this is how name servers look like. Most of the time you see ns1.something.com or .net or whatever, and then ns2. Almost all the time you are going to see 2 lines of name servers. Some bigger sites will use up to 6 or 12 lines of name servers. All right. So I told you that when we get to web hosting, we are going to talk about name servers again. And when we get there, don't forget it. Okay. I've already told you something about name server. I'm going to ask you a question. What is the purpose of name servers? And I'll see those who will remember. Israel says, what if the domain sellers like GoDaddy fold up or stop running? Oh, come on. No. GoDaddy will not stop running. No, it's like saying Google will stop running. GoDaddy will not stop running. Don't think about that. No. GoDaddy is a big company. It won't stop running. If it will stop running, they will ensure that your name is still intact. GoDaddy will not stop running. It's like saying what Google will stop, Facebook will stop, Amazon will stop. Amazon will not stop running. So if you are subscribing to Amazon Cloud, AWS, don't be thinking that they will stop running. They are not going to stop running. If they stop running, they will make sure it doesn't affect your business. All right. Now, we are supposed to get more information, but we are not getting the information. Why is that? Let's research on another website and see if we will get more information. So one of the sites that we research on, for example, in the morning, I made them search on Bank of Ghana because there was a time I bumped into this domain and I discovered that bankofghana.com was not registered by the Bank of Ghana in Ghana. And it was left with about less than 30 days to expire. I said, what? Bankofghana.com was registered by an individual and is going to expire in 30 days. I hope the person doesn't renew it. So I was monitoring it every day. I was monitoring it every day. So this Bank of Ghana, look at the registrar. It was registered where? GoDaddy, right? So the registered with GoDaddy, you can see. The date it was first registered, creation in 2003. Wow. 2003. That is 21 years ago. When was it renewed, updated? 2024, just this year. I think my case was like 3 years ago or so, maybe 3, 4 years ago. It was left with about 30 days to expire, and I was waiting. So the person renewed just how many months ago? This is in May, right? That means May, June, July, August, September, 4 months ago. And it's going to expire on 2027. The person paid for 3 years. So my idea was that if the person doesn't renew it, I am going to buy it. And I'm going to approach Ghana, Bank of Ghana and talk to them about it. But before the day, I checked again and the person had renewed it. There's nothing you can do about it. Maybe they've given it to Bank of Ghana. I don't know. But I think I checked this name, Bank of Ghana, or it was something else. I think I checked this name. Let me check and see if it's Bank of Ghana, you'll see. Because Bank of Ghana, let's see. You see? Have you seen what I'm talking about? What? I didn't do this in the morning. It's saying that this premium domain is available for purchase. $25,000. What? I've not seen this, honestly. I'm only telling you that I bumped onto this name on Who Is. Maybe I was just testing things with students. Maybe, I don't know. But I bumped onto this thing on Who Is, and I saw that it was left with few days. So this person has been keeping this name, Bank of Ghana, and he's selling it on auction. Wow, 25,000. This thing, you have to really approach Bank of Ghana and sell it to them. You just have to do that. And I would advise Bank of Ghana to buy this. It's not a wrong business. So long as the intention is not malicious. Okay, it is going to be wrong when you use this for hacking. If this person doesn't sell this to Bank of Ghana, if Bank of Ghana doesn't buy it, and the person doesn't keep on renewing it, and a hacker renews this, do you know the damage a hacker can do with this domain name, bankofghana.com? Terrible. For that reason, I would advise Bank of Ghana to pay for it. So that was my intention, that I'm going to approach them and I'm going to tell them to pay for it. But the person renewed it. And just now, I'm discovering that The person is really selling it. And you have seen that this domain is not for Bank of Ghana or was not registered by Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana is probably running on a .gov domain name. We'll be talking about that as well. But still, they have to register this name because of cybersecurity. They have to register this name. All right. So on who is, you get a lot of information. You are going to get the dates, you are going to get the registrar, and the most important part is this. You are going to discover the registrant's information. The registrant's information is really vital. It tells you the name and the details of the person who did the registration. This is not the company that registered for the person. This is not GoDaddy. This is the person. His name, if he belongs to a company, his telephone number, his email address, and all that, you are going to discover it over here. We are also going to discover the admin details. The admin details are the details of the one controlling the name. So the details here, especially the admin email, is the name we use when we want to do transfer or we want to confirm ownership of the name. We use the admin email. If you want to transfer the name, it's the admin email that will be used. And we also have technical details. Technical details could belong to the company that did the work for their client. Admin details can be the details of the company that owns it, that the name was registered for. And the registrant details could be the name of the person who did the registration. Most of the time, you are going to see the same details throughout, most of the time. But then, in your domain account, you are allowed to edit. But most of the time, you're going to see the same details. The question here is, why are we not seeing the details of the person who registered it, but we are seeing registration private? We are seeing domain by proxy. We are seeing this. Now, if you continue doing who is research, you are going to be seeing, look at somebody too. Somebody is saying that NIB Bank Ghana on premium. But how much is it selling it? On premium, where is the price? Is it $11? I don't think so. Okay. All right. Now, please watch this. There is something known as domain privacy. When I highlight it, please put this in a chat for me. Domain privacy. Please put this in a chat for me. Yes. So Emmanuel says bog.gov.gh. That's for Bank of Ghana. Please put domain privacy in the chat for me. Domain privacy. All right. Now, domain privacy is a service you subscribe to during your domain registration. So during your registration, you can subscribe to what is called domain privacy. And if you subscribe to domain privacy is a service that will make your details on who is private. This means that they are going to either remove your details like the radar.com one we saw, or they are going to provide details that directly doesn't link to you. Now, there's nothing wrong with your details showing who is a database that shows everyone who is behind every domain name. However, it is possible to decide that nobody should know that I am behind this name. If you want to do that, then you buy privacy. Privacy is for sale. This morning, we just discovered that GoDaddy had a level of privacy that they give for free. But they just started it because privacy is actually for sale. You don't get privacy for free. But GoDaddy is giving a level of privacy like this one we are seeing. The domains by proxy, GoDaddy says they are giving it for free. So you can just choose it during your registration. It's an extra service for free. So if you work with GoDaddy, you are going to get this one for free. But domain privacy is for sale. But then they have a second level full protection privacy that is for sale. So we want you to learn everything there is about domains, because there are certain things, if you don't know them, it is going to you are going to lack it. And everybody should know that who exists in the web business environment. Domain privacy also exists. Then domain redirection and all that we talked about. So you can choose to hide your information using domain redirection. Sorry, domain privacy. All right. The next thing I'm going to talk about is to introduce you to another partner, because GoDaddy is not the only domain registrar in the world. As a matter of fact, in recent years, I've not been working with GoDaddy because of their price. There's another company, in terms of popularity, it is a world number 2 domain registrar. This is another partner that you should work with. You shouldn't only work with GoDaddy, you should also work with this company. The name is domain.com. Please put it in the chat for me. That's the name of their company. They are called domain.com. Please put that in the chat for me. Most of my recent names are with domain.com. Domain.com. Please put that in the chat for me. Now, with domain.com, you can also register your names over there. And you may like domain.com because for several years, domain.com has not changed their prices. So when I go to domain.com, I'm going to see that on domain.com, domain prices.com. Are we on domain.com? Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. I don't know if someone was here in the morning. I'll go and check the clip again. But this was 9.99. Wasn't it 9.99 in the morning? Wait a minute. Are we on domain.com? Yes. .com was 9.99. Oh, I'm just getting confused. I was telling the students that for several years it's been 9.99. Or probably we did a search. Let's search for something. Let's search for vonisanti.com. And let's see. Maybe we'll find it here. So vonisanti.com, congratulations, it's available. You see, so here they'll tell you straight that it's available. If you search for, okay, look at this. They are telling you that after you buy your domain, you can choose to take this box. When you take this box, what you are doing is that you are adding domain privacy plus protection to your domain. And they charge 8.99 a year. So this one is not the price of the domain name, it's the price of privacy. Privacy is for sale. GoDaddy is giving one level of privacy for free, and it's something they just started. But privacy has always been for sale. But I'm surprised the price has changed on domain.com just this morning. I'm going to check the video again. It was 9.99. I was telling my students that it has always been 9.99 for so many years. Right. Domain.com is another trusted registrar that you can work with, apart from GoDaddy. So you can choose any of them. I'll talk about a third one, and then we will try buying a domain with GoDaddy. We'll just try. We will not go through with it. We'll just try. Then I'll use it to explain certain things. So apart from domain.com, I'm going to talk to you about another company called Ghana.com. Please type it in the chat. For Nigeria, there's going to be another company, but please type Ghana.com for me in the chat, and I'll explain what is done on Ghana.com. All right. So Ghana.com is actually a company. The name of the company is Ghana.com. That's the name of the company, Ghana.com. Their website address is also Ghana.com, but this is their name. Yes. And this particular company is a unique company in Ghana. They also provide some of the services that you provide as your company, but they have the authority and they are the only company in Ghana with the authority to register Ghana top-level.gh domains. What do I mean? We have some domains called .gh. This is the national level domain. And this national level domain.gh, it can only be acquired in Ghana. It cannot be acquired on GoDaddy, on domain.com, or on any registrar anywhere. A .gh domain means it's a Ghanaian domain and can only be acquired in Ghana. When I started web business, I was learning things by myself, discovering things by myself. Nobody told me certain important things. So I was registering domain names for years. But once in a while, I'll come across a .com.gh, and I'll be wondering, if I get a business right now and it's .com.gh, what am I going to do? How did these people get .com.gh? I went to GoDaddy, tried to register .com.gh. It doesn't work. It's not possible. GoDaddy cannot do it. The only place you can register .com.gh or .gh or anything.gh, be it .org.gh, .gov.gh, .edu.gh, you have to be in Ghana. And there's one company that has authority to sell .gh domains, and that company is called domain.com. They sell .gh domain, sorry, Ghana.com. Ghana.com is located at East Legon, near American House, towards the underbridge. They have an office there. To register a .gh domain, you need to present a registered certificate of a company in Ghana. This means that they've done it in a way that only Ghanaians can own a .gh domain. That same way in Nigeria, there is an authority that is behind. So the national authority has set this company as a company in Ghana to do it. In Nigeria, in the morning, we discovered that there are about 4 companies that can give you a .ng. But then it is still controlled by a particular company in Nigeria. Sorry, a particular authority in Nigeria. So the Ghana authority is called Ghana NIC, but Ghana.com is a company that sells the domains. And so Ghana.com is behind all the .gh you've seen. If you see a university that ends in .edu.gh, it means they registered it here. Now you can register only .gh and use it. You can also register .com.gh, .org, or .edu.gh. And if it is .gov.gh, it means it's a government level domain. It's a government level domain. And you have to be a government to own it. No individual can own a .gov. Today we have .gov domains. Well, we've always had .gov domains. But what I'm trying to say is that we have the .gov domain. For example, we have, let's say, CIA.gov. Let's see. CI.gov, Central Intelligence Agency. You have to be a government to own a .gov. In Ghana, all our .govs are .gov.gh. You have to be a government agency or a government institution to own a .gov. As an individual, you cannot own any name .gov. All right. So in the US, we have CIA, we have what? Department of Defense, DOD. Let's see DOD.gov. Is it Department of Defense or what? Please let me search. Department of Defense. Defense.gov. Okay, that's what they chose. Let me check NSA.gov if they have NSA. Okay, they have NSA. So .gov is a government institution. So Ghana, all the government authorities and government institutions can have .gov. Even they give district assemblies.gov. So any setup that is a government setup should have .gov. Now, if you are a school, then you will be given .edu. .edu is not given to other companies that are not schools. In Ghana, all our edus are edu.gh. So University of Ghana, you discover that University of Ghana is just UG, that's all, ug.edu.gh. And so if you check the University of Ghana website, now you know where to register a name for a university in Ghana. You can register any name .edu.gh. Just go to ghana.com. All right. You don't go to domain.com, please. Go to ghana.com. If you're in Nigeria, find out which authority. You can go to ChatGPT and search or search online. Which authority is selling or providing .ng domains? If you're in South Africa, .za domains. If you're in Kenya, .ke domains. You are going to discover the company behind all those domains. Then that is where you register. Those domains, you can't register them online. You can't. If you register it online, what I mean is that it is only on that company's website. So on Ghana.com, Ghana.com can choose to let me buy it online. But for me, I've always registered those names by going to the office and probably sometimes making a phone call to them. But they'll just verify the documents before they'll do it for you. All right. So we've looked at .gov and very important things over here. The last thing I'm going to talk about is that we will try buying a domain on GoDaddy. So let's search for a name like any name like derada.com. Let's say derada.com. And we'll try purchasing it. If you get derada.com and you like it, you can click here to make it yours. So if you like it, you go through a process. Tomorrow, we will go a little deeper into the process. And if we get there and we are lucky that we want to really buy a name, then we buy. But once you pay, you have full access to the name for 1 year. And once you pay, there's nothing you can do about it. It's yours. Whether you like it or not, it has been given to you. All right. So here they are saying bundle your name and save. So they want you to add more things. No, you don't want it. So just say no thanks or click next. Then over here, you are going to discover that there are extra services that they want you to have, like this domain privacy. They want you to have privacy, but this one is a free privacy from domains by proxy, like I told you. So this domain by proxy, they are giving you for free. And I think it's a very good thing if you want to be anonymous. You don't have to be anonymous, but it's good, and there may be a reason for you to be anonymous. So you can choose to get it for free, and that's great. But then they are giving extra protection. They call it full domain protection, and that one you pay for it, 11.99 a year. So these are extra services. If you like them, you choose them, like Microsoft 365. If you want to buy it through GoDaddy, you get it. If you want to buy it yourself, then you choose no. Or if you don't need it, you choose no. So anything you choose here will add to your price. If you don't like anything, leave it and continue to cut. When you continue to cut, you are now going to be asked, how many years do you want to register the name? So you can choose 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Let's use 3 years and see. So 3 years, they'll give you the price here. I'm not saying always choose 3 years. It's up to you. You can choose what you want. But at least 1 year. And this is how much it is costing. So because you didn't add anything, it is 11.99. If you click then, it will increase it. If you are done, now they are giving us a bill of $100. Why? Because we've selected something we don't know of. Let's go and check. Okay. So I have Verdant Studio. We try buying this in the morning, please. You see, they kept it in the session. Please, I don't want this. So here's like the radar. That's why I was surprised that they wrote 1 year. Usually they write 3 years. So the radar is here. And the radar is coming with full protection. Hey, so please check all these settings before you pay, because this is the final amount. So I'm going to remove the full protection. Now, all these full protection things, you don't really need them, okay? You don't really need them unless you need them, unless your client needs them, unless you really need them. But it is not a requirement. You don't really need it. If you just want to have a website on, you just buy normal domain and you can choose 1 year. And we will see the price. They are selling 11.99. And let's go here. We don't need this domain. So we're testing one domain in the morning. They kept it in the shopping cart till now. Let me remove it. So I can remove this because I'm seeing the price to be 23.98 and I want to remove it. So now I'll see the price I'm ready to pay. So if you're ready to pay, you click here, I'm ready to pay. Now, there is something called coupon codes. Please type coupon codes in the chat for me. Coupon codes. You can also call it promo codes. Coupon codes or promo codes. Please put that in the chat for me. Coupon codes, promo codes. Now, GoDaddy provides certain coupon codes that are hidden on third-party websites. These days, they are not effective, and for the past 5 years, they have not been effective. But there was a time ago, several years ago, that you will always get a coupon code. If you see a price and it's 11.99, you can get a code that can let you buy 0.99 or 1.99 or 2.99. I myself, I have used coupon codes to buy hundreds of names. Names that I'm supposed to pay more than $10. I pay 0 point something. I pay 1 point something, 2 point something, and I saved a lot. Today, you can still find a lot of those coupon codes. You can go and search for GoDaddy, .com coupon code. And you can see those sites providing coupon code. You can click on any of them. And this one is saying that if you copy this coupon code, you are going to get some discount on your first year of .com. Let's go and try it. This time, the coupon code system, it hasn't been working. So you come here and you paste it here and apply. If it is invalid, you'll be told that it is invalid. If it is valid, it should reduce the price. But this coupon, it didn't reduce the price. So those days we were searching and searching and searching, and we stored a lot of coupons because if I use a coupon today, I may not be able to use it myself, but someone else can use it. So we're keeping a lot of coupons, and there were even coupons that you could reuse multiple times. These days, a coupon system doesn't really work. However, if you're a first timer, it is possible to get your name at a reduced amount, maybe 2.99, 1.99. If you're a first timer, for me, I can never get that. But the first timer coupon, we will check. I'll confirm it if tomorrow we will find it. Because GoDaddy was giving first timer coupon even when they stopped their main coupon business. So if we get it, this means that your first domain, you can buy with GoDaddy without any worry, and you can buy it for way less. If we don't get it, this is how much GoDaddy is selling domains. So you may need to get it like that. Now, once you are ready and your price, you see your price, if you have coupon, you've applied and everything, you click I'm ready to pay, then it takes you to where you will create your account for the first time. So you can continue with Google, continue with an email, or continue with Facebook. If you already have an account, you can sign in. So this is where you create your first account. You can create your account before you ever buy your domain name, and that is what I would recommend for you to create your GoDaddy account down. You have your login details. So when you get here, you just sign in. If you've already signed in, it will sign you in automatically. Then after you click sign in, or after you register your account, the last step is for you to make payments. So I talked about coupon codes. You can search for them on Google, find a lot. Some may still work, but I can't confirm that. There was a time they were very effective. Now they are not. I've talked about domain privacy. The next thing I'm going to talk about is how you pay for your domain name. And you pay with Visa or MasterCard. Please put that in the chat for me. Visa or MasterCard. That is how you pay for your domain. Visa or MasterCard. Now, anytime I'm teaching this course, what I endeavor to do is to let you get all the tools you need so that you can do business with it. So everyone who wants to get into the web business needs to get some cards. I have more than 10 cards that I used to use in the past, more than 10. And your card should be Visa or MasterCard or any card that your bank gives you that can make payments online. So you can talk to your bank. There are some of the cards, they are not Visa, but they can still be used for online payment. Maybe they are MasterCard, but some of them, they've not written it on it. But just ask your bank if you can use it online. But if it's Visa or MasterCard, you can most definitely use it online. This is what you use to pay. So if you don't have this, then you don't have what it takes to buy a domain name. And so you need to pursue this. The Nigerians will say pursue. You need to pursue this because it is a requirement to do web business. So usually I tell my students that from class, go straight to the bank and request for a card. It is very easy to get a card. If you have an account, they can get you a card the same day or the next day or the next 2 days. If you don't have an account, you just have to create an account with a bank, and the same day or the next day or the next 2 days, you get your card. You'll just be charged something very, very little, very, very little, very, very little, and they'll give you the card. Now, I told you that when I started my web business, I didn't have someone to tell me what to do. So I had to learn things by discovery and learn things by experience. So when I started, the registrar I was working with was not GoDaddy or domain.com. Nobody told me about them. So I was using a registrar that accepted money through an e-currency we call Liberty Reserve. Just like we have Skrill, we have Paystack and PayPal, AlertPay. There was one called AlertPay and Liberty Reserve. Today, Liberty Reserve is no longer operating. But this Liberty Reserve, a lot of people were using it. And that is what I was using to pay for domain names. And for me to pay for any domain, when I get any new client, I have to load funds into my Liberty Reserve wallet to buy a domain. And the only way I could put money in my Liberty Reserve was through Western Union. And in Ghana, we have an issue with Western Union. In Ghana, we only receive Western Union. If you send Western Union to Ghana, it can be received, no problem at all, no problem. But in Ghana, we don't send Western Union. We can't send from Ghana, we can receive. In Ghana, I know that's I remember starting my web business. More than 19 to 20 years ago, it's been like that. So do you know what I was doing? Anytime I get a new client, I need to find a way to send Western Union. And the closest place to send Western Union in Ghana is to travel to Togo, a neighboring country. So I would travel to Togo, cross the border, go to Western Union in Togo, change from cedis to CFA, and then send the money. And I was going to Togo almost every week because at that time, I didn't have a lot of funds to load my Liberty Reserve with a lot. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I was only loading little funds. So almost every week, I'll be on my trip to Togo. And look at the transportation from Accra to Aflao and then to Togo. Then changing your currency to, there'll be charges. Then transferring the Western Union and converting it into that e-currency, there are charges on it. And using the Liberty Reserve to pay for the domain, that process also comes with charges. So I was spending a lot of money going in, coming out, paying a lot of charges just to buy one domain name for $10. You could imagine the stress I was going through, and this happened for years. Until one day, I discovered that I can just use a Visa card and I can pay. And my first Visa card payment, when I used it, it was instant. In less than a minute, I registered the domain and the charges were less. Considering what I was going through, this was a relief to me. You can imagine the relief because this was my business. Those days, this was all I did to survive. This was my business, and I was creating websites every day. That was my work. So When I discovered this, I mean, this shouldn't be a discovery, but for me, it was a discovery. It brought a lot of relief. And with this, you can just pay for your domain on GoDaddy on domain.com instantly. Now, we have some details on your card that you have to provide when you are paying for your domain, okay? So on your card, we have the 16-digit card number. 16-digit card number, please put that in the chat for me. It is needed before you can make the payment on GoDaddy or domain.com. Then we have the expiry date. It is needed. Sometimes you'll be asked to enter the cardholder name or not. It's not too much needed, but sometimes it is needed. So we have 3 critical details that you need. Then behind the card, we have a code. You see these 7 codes. The last 3 is very, very important. The last 3 is really important. We call it the CVV code or the CVC code. This code, please put that in the chat for me. So you need these things to be able to make payments with your card. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You need these 4 before you can make payment. Now, these 4 things, they are all written on the card. Okay, you can see the 16-digit, you can see the expiry date, you can see the name of the card holder on the card. If you turn the back, you can see the CVV code also here. They are all on the card. What that means is that you don't really need to be holding the card. All you need are these details. What that also means is that if somebody should copy these details from your card, this means that the person has everything they need to pay with your money. When hackers are hacking computers, they are hacking for credit cards and passwords. This is vital information. And this information is physically on the card. I can see them, all of them. I have all of them here on the card. This means that if anybody takes your card and they copy this, there is no restriction. There's only 1% of the time that you come across another code verified by Visa code that you have to provide a verified by Visa code, but that you don't meet it. You don't meet it. Have been doing this for long, you don't meet it. Just once a while, maybe 1% out of 100%, 1%. So anytime I'm teaching this course, what I do is that I bring a lot of cards to the class. And some of my students, they've not seen, they don't have the cards. So I tell them that this is a requirement for this course. You can't complete this course without having this because we are training you to be able to provide web business services. If you don't have this card, you can't provide web business. You can't buy domains, you can't buy hosting. So you need this card. So I pass the card around and I tell them to pass it, and everybody should look at it carefully. Please, you need to have these cards. I ask them to pass it around and to check it very, very well. Then I'll tell them about the information on the card and I'll tell them how sensitive that information is. Maybe you don't think about it, but all the time that I've been buying the domain, we don't need a chip, we don't need the strip here, we don't need anything, just the details. That's all we need to make the payment. This means if somebody finds yours, they will pay with your money. Then almost every time somebody will raise their hand and say, if this information is very confidential, why are you giving us the cards? I have more than 10 cards, so I pass them around. They ask me, so sir, why do you give us your cards to look at? Then my answer is that I'm able to give you my cards because all these cards have expired. All these cards have expired. then everybody will start laughing. Because the cards I bring to class, they are all expired cards. Then I will show them the real cards that I have that are not expired, and I'll tell them that should I pass it around? And I'll say that no, I'm not going to pass it around. All right. So this brings our lesson today to an end. Tomorrow I'm going to meet you and we'll go to the next step. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you for taking us through. Today's lesson has been very, very insightful. Fortunately, you can't pass the cards through the, but anyway. So yes, we continue tomorrow, God willing, same time. And again, if you've not changed or you've not uploaded your photo on Slack, please do that, your profile photo, and please use your full name if you've not done that. And then also, I'm sure by now we should all have the cybersecurity fundamentals certificates. So please check your mail. If not, I'm sure it will be sent by close of day or tomorrow. You should have it in your mail. Okay. You can also use the scan me or the QR code to scan it, and then you have it on your phone as well. Okay. So this is where we draw the curtain on today's lesson. Okay, try to stick within the time. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sir Darlington, for taking us through. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the evening. We'll meet tomorrow, God willing. Bye, everybody. Bye.